Hey everybody, Kyle Sasser here, and it's everyone's favorite time of the month. That's right, market statistics time. These statistics are for Pinellas County for September 2021. I hope you're having a great day. As you can tell, I did get the walls patched here. The handyman here at the local KW office in downtown St. Pete, he came in, he patched the walls, and put some touch-up paint there, and did a great job. I've also brought a little bit of color here into the studio. So this is some artwork we found at a local antique shop. It's across the street from Trips. Yes, Designer Consigner. They have an excellent artwork and furniture section in the back, so be sure to check that out if you're at Trips in St. Pete. We have the shark also making a reappearance on the show, which is cool. Long-time viewers might remember him from the original OG studio over in Shore Acres, Saint Petersburg. And then my wife demanded that I bring this into the office and just... So it is actually functional, but it is a red swing line. Let's get into the business. So why it is currently October, why are we looking at September statistics? And the reason why is because the MLS naturally takes a bit of time to get those statistics together and over to us. So the stats kind of lag behind by about 30 days. The other thing to know with these statistics is that they compare year over year, not month to month. And the reason why is because during the course of a year, real estate cycle has a natural ebb and flow. There's some high points, there's some low points. So comparing month to month is not necessarily the best way to gauge any changes in the market. Instead, what we do is we compare year to year. So we are comparing September 2021 statistics to September 2020 statistics. And by doing so, even though it is a pretty long time frame, it does give us a better indication of the changes that have happened in the market. It's about the best way we have to go about it. Now, those of you that have been watching the last few months, you have probably remembered that I have said that there is a potential market shift in the mix. And if you've been watching for a long time, you know that usually takes a few months to play out. And I'll cut to the chase because I hate it when people dangle stuff and then don't actually get to it until the end. And basically that trend is continuing here. So to actually dive into the statistics here, for Pinellas County, September 2021, number of closed sales is up 3.8% from 1,221 to 1,267. So that is an increase. We are still selling a few more houses than we did last year. The amount of houses paid in cash is up 56.8% to 475 total. And that number is quite a bit higher than it usually is. Usually that's hanging around in the hundreds mark. And so a lot of that is just because people feel that they're having to make cash offers to be the winning offer when buying a house. The median sales price is up 15.6% to $370,000. And average sales price is also up 12% to $474,935. So average is where you add up the price of 5 different houses and then divide it by 5. That will give you the average sales price. And the median price is more of a midpoint. So if you have 10 houses for sale, the median price is the point at which there is an equal number of houses for sale above that price and an equal number of homes for sale below that price. 15% is definitely a strong increase for 12 months. That is very strong. Total dollar volume is up 16.2% to $601 million. Median time to contract has held. It is still 9 days. So 12 months ago, it was 9 days. Today in September 2021, it is also 9 days. Now, the next little section of numbers here, this is where the change has been coming. And Pinellas County hasn't seen it quite as much as like Hillsborough County. And the numbers are kind of doing this bit. And, whenever things start like wiggling, that usually means that there's a market change coming. So for the last 6 months, we've had fewer and fewer houses for sale, more and more houses being sold for more and more prices. And that has been a hard charge for about eight or 9 months still. And that was really, really with really strong price increases in the last like 6 months or so. But this little wobble we have going on, that's maybe 2 months old at this point. And what that looks like it's coming from is the number of new listings are up 2.5%, which is not much, but it is noteworthy. This is the first stretch we've had where more homes have been coming up for sale. And the number of total sales is not climbing as high as it was for the last 6 months. So, and I know that I'm kind of being a little wishy-washy on this, but basically what this is saying is we're kind of in an equilibrium to slightly, it's not indicated here, but things have slid a little bit onto the buyer side of things. So it's definitely not a buyer's market because we are still at 1 month supply of inventory, and that is super, super, super short. But we are having more listings coming up for sale now than are selling. Now, for September, we were only up about 20 houses above the number of closed sales. But compared to previous months where the number of closed sales was just obliterating the number of new listings, is no longer the case. So that's why, we have a little bit of a market change coming in here. Now, it's going to take months and months and months for all this to play out. So please don't count on submitting like $60,000 under asking price offers and thinking that it's going to get accepted. Like, no. Real estate moves extremely slowly, and it is going to take, months and months and months for this to play out. But the indicators of that change coming are here. So if you are in the least bit thinking about selling, now is 100% the time to put it up for sale, because we do not know what is on the other side of that leveling out. Prices might go back up. They also might go back down. There's a lot of pent up buyer resentment, feeling that prices have climbed too high too fast. I do like to dive into these specific price points because the fact is that $1 million house sells for a little bit different time frame than a $250,000 house. So $50,000 to $100,000, there was 77.8% fewer houses sold in that price range. $150,000 to $200,000, there was 48.9% fewer houses sold for a total of 45. $200,000 to $250,000, there was 51.6 fewer homes sold for a total of 93. And then $250,000 to $300,000, there was 3.4% fewer sold for a total of 199. Now, once you get above that 300 mark, things switch. We're seeing more closed sales in those price ranges. And a lot of people think, they're like, where are all these $300,000 plus houses coming from? Like, are they being built? Like, what's going on? And the truth is that someone looking to sell their home is naturally going to want the most money possible for their home. And so what has happened is the houses that 2 or 3 years ago would have been in those, 200 to 250, 300 price range, those have slid up into the next higher price statistics bracket. So that's why below 300 looks like there's just a ton less available, which there is. And then, above 300, it looks like there's a ton more. Like, it's the same houses, it's just they're actually worth more money now. Median time to contract, I do want to point this out because there's an interesting change. This is another thing where the numbers are wobbling a little bit. And these had been down across the board for a very long time. But now we're actually starting to see longer time periods to get contracts accepted. So 250 to 300,000 is actually up 15.4% for a total of 15 days. That is nuts. 300 to 400,000 is up 100%. So now it's only 10 days. So the sky's not falling here by any stretch of the imagination. If you're a seller, 10 days is still super quick to go from listing to under contract. But that is double the amount of time that it took on average 1 year ago. So we can see there, like, what all of this is telling me is that demand is softening, just for whatever reason. Like, holidays are coming up. People aren't as eager to, add like $30,000 or $40,000 cash to get a transaction done. things are leveling off. Things are cooling down here a little bit. If we look at the number of new listings by sales price, we still have that hard divide at $300,000. So basically, the number of homes going up for sale under $300,000 are significantly less. For some examples, $150,000 to $200,000 is down 50% for a total of 52. $200,000 to $250,000 is down 50.9% for a total of 85. And then whenever we hit that 300,000 number, it switches. So we actually have more homes going up for sale in those price points. So 300 to 400,000, there's actually 19.9% more homes sold in that price range for a total of 332. And 400 to 600,000 is up 33.9% for a total of 308. And then, the $1 million or more category is up 56.3% for a total of 100. That is new listings. So that's the number of homes that were just listed for sale. The next statistic is going to be total inventory. So this is old stuff, and this is also stuff that's just been listed. And it's a little more of a mishmash with that. Now, by and large, there's still fewer across most of the categories, with the exception of 300 to 400,000 is actually up 14.2% to a total of 305. So the good news is there's more homes in that price range for sale than there were last year. The bad news is last year those homes were in the 250 to 300 range, like they've just slid up that much. And then finally on the last page, the doom and gloom page. So this page is concerning foreclosures, bank-owned properties, and short sales. Now, still a little bit of a gray area with the foreclosures and COVIDs and moratoriums and all that stuff. Some foreclosures have been going ahead, like if it's like a HOA foreclosure or something like that. But by and large, these numbers are still suppressed. So again, take a very large grain of salt with this. But the number of foreclosures are down 37.5% for a total of 5, and the total number of short sales is down 50% for a total number of 2. So a lot of people are concerned. They think that there is a veritable flood of foreclosures and short sales that are just waiting in the wings to overwhelm us and just drop prices by like 70% overnight. People are sitting on the sidelines with their bags of money just ready to jump on these opportunities. The thing to know is that real estate moves extraordinarily slowly. The last 7 or 8 months was just a crazy spike in home values. That is very unusual. And usually the slide downward does not happen nearly as fast as the spike upward. And the reason why is because most people, when buying a house, don't want to sell their house for less than what they paid for it. Like, it's just natural human inclination. And no one wakes up overnight and says, wow, everybody says my house is worth less, I should sell it for half of what it was. So, Great Recession, economy all blows up, Bear Stearns goes out of business, all that stuff, banks fold. Panic in the streets and all that. So from that point, it took from like 2006 or 2007 all the way to about 2010 or 11 for that price to slide and get cut by 50%. Because what happens is people put their house up for sale. They're like, I want this price. And then they don't get that price. And then they lower the price a little bit, lower the price a little bit, lower the price a little bit. And then, people are buying stuff. But that's why it is a much slower slide down than going up. And again, prices might not even go down. Like, there's no reason to think that they are. One of the big changes in the Tampa Bay area is that we are now on the national and world stage. We are now a place that a lot of people feel is the cool and happening place, which growing up here is bonkers because growing up, there was not much here other than water and mangroves and some old some old buildings that had been boarded up. But we are now the cool, hip, and happening place, and because of that, even if there is a downturn, the net effect on the region should be less than the rest of the country because of that. People still like the beach, and they probably always will. So that's why, demand is always going to be pretty high here. So that is the statistics for September 2021. I guess technically we're in October, so I'll call those the October stats, even though they are for September. Let me know what you think. If you like the decorations I got going back on, this one should be hung by the time of the next video. If you have any questions or thoughts on the statistics, or if you think the real estate market is set for a huge bust coming down the pipeline, I know there's a lot of people upset about current housing prices and rentals and all that stuff. A lot of people are doing a lot of blame game with iBuyers and foreign buyers and lots of boogeymans like that. I can assure you we can break it down to as simple as possible. The reason prices have climbed so high is because there was not a lot of houses to buy, and there was a ton of people looking to buy houses. Most of them from out of state looking to relocate here because they were tired of COVID restrictions and they were able to work remotely now. So all those factors together have really driven up our home prices, especially compared to the rest of the country. Now, the rest of the country is still, they're having the same thing. Like, prices are high across the board, so we're not unique by any stretch of the imagination. We have accelerated harder, though, and that's primarily because beaches. People like beaches. So if you are interested in finding your own great place here in Tampa Bay, I would love to help you out. My name is Kyle Sasser. I'm with Keller Williams, Saint Petersburg. You can reach me at 813-323-7396. That is my cell phone. You can shoot me an email at kyle@sassergroup.com. That information is also down below. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. Leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.